Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we return taking another look at Blue Protocol Star Resonance. This is a brand new MMORPG set in a anime-style fantasy world, where you'll be exploring large open zones, doing both solo and group content with dungeons, boss encounters, and raids, along with all sorts of different side activities and social events to participate in. Now, I've played the game a few different times in recent months. I have leveled 2 different characters to the current max of 60, and in doing so have spent some time checking out the end game. And today that's actually what I want to focus on, like showing you what are you doing at max character level? What are the different activities that you're participating in? What does it look like exactly? Now, thank you to A+ for sponsoring this video. They did give me another opportunity to play the game again recently. And of course, if you're interested and you want to see more, we've got a couple of links available in the description below. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. So as a quick recap, Blue Protocol Star Resonance is a blending of traditional MMO with some character and progression systems that many modern free-to-play RPGs have, along with this anime styling and setting on top of it. And there is quite a bit of anime in here, if I'm being honest. Like, if you like this kind of storytelling, these characters and narrative cutscenes, you're gonna have plenty of it on offer here in this game. But then beyond the narrative stuff, it's also an MMO. So you've got these large open zones full of different points of interest, events, collectibles, and places to explore. The game is broken up into several different zones. So I'm currently in the Asteria Plains. This is basically the zone where you spend a bulk of the leveling up process. This is the major city hub as well. It's got like all of the important NPCs for the different activity types, which we'll be taking a look at here in just a minute. But yeah, each of the zones are divided up into different sections, and you've got different activity types. Like there are fishing spots here. These are some of the open world boss hunts that you can do, as well as some of the instance locations. Like these are the instance activities that you can engage in, and you can actually walk up to them like out in the open world like this. Like I can walk over to the Tina's Mind Realm entrance. Yeah, you got these zones, you got points of interest, like we're near one right now, and in the POI you're gonna see different NPCs in there and stuff, and there's all sorts of different collectibles. So for example, like these little chests are all over the place, and they'll give you some resources there, the rose orb, and then a little like green additional resources, which is used for some of the games like crafting and progression systems. And the exploration is actually quite enjoyable in and of itself, thanks to them having a lot of different movement options. There's like many different ways for you to get around the environment. And yeah, it's actually really enjoyable traversing the world because there's so much you can do. So you start off with just like you've got your normal speed, and then you've got a sprint speed. You just hold down the dash and it does this little sprint. But as you level up, you start unlocking more and more traversal abilities. Got a little bit of combat here. A double jump. And then that double jump eventually becomes a multiple jump where you're doing 3, 4 jumps in one. And then you also, this is like it takes a little bit to get used to, but whenever you land from a jump, you have this little mini game bar that pops up, and you can chain this for like some crazy movement. So let me show you. You always want to do it in the white part of the bar, and then it keeps going from one to the other. So you can just do that, and that's kind of cool. And you get some nice stam regen at the end when you hit it in the final tick. But when you combine that with the double and triple and quadruple jumps here, and then when you land, you do it again, and you do more multiple jumps, it gets like really, really neat. I mean, you have to worry about running out of stamina, but you can kind of go for a long while here and get like quite a bit of jumping and movement. And then beyond that, you also have the flying ability. So you can go up to these wind gusts, and hitting Q is going to let you propel up there. And then once you've reached your top height, you can kind of glide for a while, and you can actually toggle this gliding whenever you want. In fact, beyond toggling, you can even just hover eventually. You'll like get access to this. So you just hold down spacebar, and then you do a little bit of a hover. But let's go back in the wind tunnel here. So we'll Q all the way to the top of the wind gust, and then at any point, we can go into this gliding mode. And you can like kind of go down to pick up speed. You'll eventually get some wings. You go up a little bit, but you'll lose speed. So you can kind of like toggle it a bit. You can look for some more wind gust if you have them. You can just like fly right back into these wind gusts as well. Yeah, and then that's going to take you up a little bit. And then on top of all of that, you also have just the straight up ability to wall run. Now, again, you don't start with all of this stuff. It takes, like as you're progressing from 1 to 60, you unlock it. In fact, I'll show you here. Yeah, it's tied here to this potential activation. So you start off here, this auto vault, and then you get chain jump, multiple chain jumps, and then you get the dash jump, and then you get wall running and wall jump, and then eventually you get the air float ability. So all of this stuff kind of ends up compounding. But then once you're going, like, you're just off to the races. It's to the point, like, I have a mount, but I rarely use it. Now, there are instances where I'll want to use a mount, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting better mounts at some point. Right now, I got this little piggy. It's the first mount you unlock. Literally, just running around is actually enjoyable because of this little mini game. Because you can chain it with the multiple jumps, and then you can do the wall running. And then, like, I don't have to just be in that wind tunnels to do that gliding either. So I could just be on the ground, and then I'll do some of this, like, quadruple jump, and then I'll do this, and I'll swap to the flying. I didn't really get far there, but you can imagine, like, if you're at a good spot, you could actually do quite a fair bit with that, which is neat. Most of the major points of interest are also going to be populated with different enemies for you to fight, and this is an action combat MMO. Here's what that looks like. So yeah, the combat, it's an action combat game. The character that I'm playing right now is a tank class, so I'm really not doing a lot of damage, but I've got different abilities where I'm like building up my defenses, and then I can drop down some like AoE heals. I can toss out a shield. This heal effect is kind of like a consecration. It also does damage. But yeah, spamming basic attacks and then rotating between using my cooldowns for my 1 through 5 abilities, as well as a resource. So I've got like generators and spenders on top of cooldowns. You've got an ultimate with your R ability. Mine kind of just has me go like super tanky and super defensy. I get a nice little buff for a duration. And then on top of that, you also have your battle pets, these battle imagines. They're bound to X. My X one's a boar that charges, and then my Z is a guy who does like a fire breathing. Well, I guess it's kind of like a void damage or something, but yeah, I mean, again, though, this is the tanky character. Like, I do not deal a lot of damage on this character. I do have a ranger, which I'll probably switch to for showcasing some of the other combat focused stuff. But yeah, basic action combat system, basic attacks, using abilities on cooldowns, and then you've got builders and spender resources, and for the different classes, these function differently. That's kind of the general idea, though. But with this class, I'm trying to build up my defenses while also doing some damage and healing. That's the idea here. Now, as a full disclosure, while you are leveling, you're going to be spending like a bulk of that time engaging in the storytelling, going from one NPC to another, chatting with them, getting a cutscene here and there. And in the process, it introduces you to a few different systems while also having you explore this large capital city and spend some time out in the open world. Now, beyond that, there's actually a fairly large variety of different types of content in the game. You're going to be slowly introduced to some of this during the leveling process, but mainly you're going to be spending your time at max level running this stuff. Or in other words, this is what the game has for endgame. So you've got daily quest, dungeon runs, tower climbs, open world hunts, these larger scale world bosses. There are class trials for every role. It's got life skills and different social events. And all of these things give you various resources and currencies that you need, which fuel your character and gear power progression. All right, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at each of these, starting out with the daily quest, or as they're called in game, bureau commissions. So the daily quest, you pick them up here. They're referred to as bureau commissions. These are going to rotate every single day, and you can do them 3 times, and you essentially accept them like as a group, and then there are going to be the 3 different quests for you to do, and these will be different. Like, every day I've gotten different ones. In fact, it doesn't have right here. One of my favorite ones is a platforming one. This one looks like combat ones, and then a Q&A that you can do. But you just go here, you accept it, and then they're going to show up on your map, and these will always be located out in the open world. So if I hit go here, it's actually going to show me where it is, but on top of that, you can even teleport directly to it. And every single activity that you do at this part of the end game, it's all going to reward some sort of currencies and or resources that fuel into the game's progression systems and or cosmetic unlocks. All of this works towards either making your character more powerful or getting some unlocks for cosmetic, or there's also a housing system that it plays into that. But let's just go and do this Purifying the Void. This is a pretty straightforward daily quest. So we teleported here. There's a little chest I can pick up, but then this is actually where you activate the daily quest. They're always going to be this kind of streaming thing here, but I run up here, hit F, accept the quest, and then I'm going to load into it. It's just going to be like a private instanced area. So there will be other people in this world. The servers that I'm on is pretty quiet right now because it's a preview server. When you go to these instance areas is where you won't see other people. And then I interact with this, start the battle, and I've got 5 minutes. So I got 5 minutes to kill these enemies. So the class that I'm playing right now is a damage focus archer. I got a few things that I can do, but basically I'm building up my gauge, my white gauge there that goes up to 80. And then once it does that, I can unleash this barrage. I'm hitting my 5, my 4, which you can put down in AoE. Got a couple of damage, single target, and CC abilities. And then I got a big burst in my 1. Now I also have my R, which is my ultimate. And this is going to call down like a rain of arrows and it CCs people in place. So yeah, you go through, that's just one example of a quest, but there's different kinds. There's platforming. There's ones where you're rounding up pigs. My favorite is where they have these light bridges. They're just really cool. There'll be like a bridge and you'll see how it's laid out and then it'll disappear portions of it and you'll have to remember where it was without falling to the ground. I really like it. Then we have got the dungeon system, which is found at this Unit X research facility in the capital city. Okay, so endgame dungeons. These are located here at the Unit X research facility. Quite the name. It's just this building in town. You spend a lot of time in this town because you can actually access like most of the main activities, the progression, the crafting systems. This location, so they've got rotating ones here. These are the unstable events. This run right now is the Kanamai Trail. And when you open it up, you'll see here's the number of attempts. Here's the things that you can get. Here's the recommended ability score. And there's number of people, although you can queue solo or with a team of 2. And then it's going to fill the rest with AI, which is actually really nice, especially in my current environment where I'm playing on a server that doesn't have a lot of people. But then all of the game's main dungeons are located right here. And you can go through them. It's going to show you like the head boss. And you go through, so this is the Goblin Nest. This one right here is Tina's Mind Realm. There's Tina. Then there's the Towering Ruin. Then there is the Kanamai Trail, which also has that special unstable version down there. And then the final one right here is the Dark Mist Fortress. Now, every one of these, you go up to it, and this is a dungeon. You can queue for it from here. So you interact with it, and it's going to give you multiple versions. There's the normal, the hard, and the master. This increases the difficulty. The ability score that they recommend is going to be right here, and it's going to tell you based on your current score how you stack up. You can even evaluate, and it'll show you like, hey, here's the stats that we suggest. Here are the stats that you currently have, and here's your current ability score versus what we suggest. So the Dark Mist Fortress, this is a higher one. I could go into like this one, the trial. This one recommends an ability score of 6490 for that version, and then the hard version is 8970, and then you've got the master version. And as it increases, the difficulty gets harder. There are additional modifiers here, and you get better rewards. So the highest tier is going to give you the highest level of gear, the level 80 gear with legendary variants, which just comes with more better stats on it. The hard version, you can get legendary gear, but only level 40. And then the normal version, you can get epic gear at level 40. So that's basically how it's all broken up. I know one of these, I can actually do the hard one pretty reasonably. Yeah, the Towering Ruin, I can do this. It's 7560. Can do the hard version of that. Tina's Mind Realm, I can do the hard version of this one as well. In fact, let's do this one. Let's queue up for Tina's Mind Realm. Now, there's not a lot of people, again, preview server, so I'm going to queue up for the single duel. Also, if you just like to play solo or with one other person and you don't want to do a full team, you can do that as well. It's actually been pretty good. They just follow you around, they engage with whatever. If you're not tank, there'll be a tank and a healer in there as well. You get heals, you get revived if you go down. Like, it's actually pretty nice how they do it. All right, so at the start of every run, you're going to first engage with this. It's going to give you a little bit of information, what the time limit is, special details about the facility and everything. Then you hit challenge, you get a little countdown timer, and then off you go into the dungeon. All right, so let's do it. We'll do a dungeon run real quick. Now, in my experience, these on average take between 10 and 15 minutes. Again, there's the timer for 15 minutes. I believe that timer is just for reaching the boss. I don't know if it requires you to actually kill the boss before that timer is up. But we go in, the rest of my teammates follow me. We got some damage dealers, we got some tanks, and they'll eventually engage. There they go. Now, this is actually one of those dungeons where some of them will have like way easier, larger, and more groups of trash mobs. This particular dungeon actually has very few trash mobs, but they're kind of harder. Like, they take a little more to work down. As you can see here, like, these guys are taking a hot minute. But my bar's back up. Gonna do my combo here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then followed by the 1. Bunch of burst damage. We're gonna pull in our battle imagines too. They're actually not bad, although the big thing really is their passive stats. Like that's consistently the biggest benefit that you get from them. They're not bad in enough of themselves as some additional damage or CC or any other kind of support. They keep it pretty straightforward too. They'll usually be from one room to another. There'll be some arrows pointing you in the right direction. And then also, funny enough, the teammates, even though they're AI teammates, they have their own battle imagines, so their own little like pet creatures that they're calling into the middle of fights as well. Game plan is pretty straightforward. I build up the white bar, and then I just use my cooldown reduction ability, which also gives me boost to my skills, and I spam my AoE. And there's single target damage in here as well, but some of it will pierce through, and some of it's specifically AoE. And that's that. We cleared the trash now, so now we have, again, plenty of time, as you can see, and now we can head over to the boss fight. Boss at the center. Okay, so here is Tina. We're in her mind realm. Time to fight. Set up for the tank to actually do some tanking, hopefully. No, they actually do a good job. They were acting kind of funny at that one spot while we were clearing the trash, but honestly, for the most part, I found that they're perfectly competent. Like, they'll do the thing. They'll tank for you. They'll heal you. Okay, there's an expanding realm. I gotta go within. There's one section where it's not hitting. It's actually kind of hard, but you see I'm getting those perfect dodges in there, and actually I wasn't hit because of that. Gotta take out the clones before they get to Tina. I don't know actually if we have quite enough damage to do that. There are multiple. I can get 2. I don't know if we're gonna get the 3rd one. No, we didn't get the 3rd one, but might not matter. I think as long as you get the first 2, you're okay. At least maybe not in the higher difficulty, in the very hardest difficulty, but in this one. Okay, so now grows, and then at this point we're gonna want to get to one. She's gonna attack one side, and then we go to this side, and then we use these things to teleport across the way right before it hits. And then there's also a mage here that casts these little rings, and I think I'm guessing there'll be a way to stop that from happening, from attacking the mage. I actually don't see the mage this time. Last time I ran this, I saw the mage though. Maybe it comes in the next phase or something. So just keep unleashing the damage. Ultimate with a little fleur effect to it, and back into this phase. So maybe this is the one with the mage in it. All right, gonna slam down. And I also wonder, like, does it go faster when you get to a higher difficulty as well? That I don't know. Looks like she always swipes from her right to her left. And then so you just have to look at her position, and you can figure out where to go from there. And when my 1 isn't fully primed, oh, gotta take off the clones, okay. When my 1 isn't fully primed, I actually get like a dodge with it, which is kind of neat. It's got like a dash attack like that. When it's fully primed, it's a multi-pronged attack instead. All right, almost there. Last bit of health. Think we might get it. Don't think there's gonna be another phase here. And there we go. Tina's Mind Realm defeated. Mission successful. Good job, team. Great communication between everyone. Super impressed with you all. And there are my rewards. I got the level 40 purple helm. I think this is the one. Yeah, I did have a chance to get a yellow item, but it's just a % chance, so you're not guaranteed to get them, because they are quite a bit stronger than the purple versions of the same level. This tower climb, referred to as the Stimen Vaults. Here we are at the Stimen Vaults. It's in the upper west corner here of town. And then while you're here, you can interact either with the docks or with this NPC, and it's going to give you access. So this is essentially a tower climb. The higher up you go, the higher the required ability score, the harder the enemies. But you go in and you clear out enemies. So I'll show you a one floor here. This one's pretty straightforward. You just spawn in right here. You challenge this, and then it says go, and you have 3 minutes in this one. I think the time might change as you progress, but you've got a certain amount of time to clear everything in this floor. Now, the floor is just kind of this area and then the room beneath me down there, but you need to clear everything, so we're gonna run across. Yeah, the combat system is pretty straightforward. Again, like I mentioned, it's really the same like with this class as it was with the tank class. It's just presented differently, but you've got your basic attack that you spam, and there can be different like modifiers and things off of that. Then you've got your cooldowns in your 1 through 5, your R, and then your Z and your X. And then you've got some sort of resource system that you're managing as well in between. And that's really how it's all broken up. And then right over here is the last bit. Finish this. and then boom, challenge succeeded. So as long as you do it within the time, you successfully clear the challenge, you'll get the reward. And then if you want to keep going, you'll walk in here, it's going to do a timer, and then it's going to bring you to the next section. There are the open world hunts. So there's actually quite a few of these. They're broken up into multiple categories. You've got the common hunts, and this will just like, as you kill more of this enemy type, these are some of the basic enemies in the game. As you kill more of each type, you're going to unlock rewards in the process. And then there are the ones for the elite versions of the enemies, but a little bit harder than the regular versions. And then there are the boss hunts, and these are actually quite difficult. Now, I'm pretty sure I can solo this guy. He's the first one down here, is just located right here. You can actually see the bosses in these different sections, but I think I can. It's just like, I tried the other day and it was like 15 minutes into the fight and he was at like half health, and I just said, you know what? I don't really want to keep sitting here, but I'm pretty sure I like could, and I know my damage has increased since I tried last. So I think I can sit here and solo this. It actually doesn't look too bad. Like you can see I'm kind of chugging away at his health right now, but I tried this on my tank character of a similar gear score to my ranger character, and it was not happening. Like I wasn't dying. I could actually sit there and just like eat the damage that he was doing. It wasn't a huge deal, but I was dealing no damage on my tank character. Like it was pretty abysmal. But I'm pretty sure on this guy that I could totally do this. Like it actually seems doable. It just takes a while, you know what I mean? But this is also the first boss hunt, and they get progressively harder as you go. So like when this game's live and there's a bunch of people playing and you're like, this is just out in the open world. This isn't instanced either. Each of the zones are fully open. It's just that there's a loading screen between the zones, and then there are some instanced activities like the daily quest that I did earlier, those bureau commissions that you saw. Once the game is out, this is an open world zone, and there will be other people here. So you'll like have other people helping you. Like just add 3 more people, and this goes from something that takes 15 or 20 minutes to something that you can like reasonably do in like 5 to 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So, and yeah. Open world hunts, regular enemies and elite enemies, and then these like straight up bosses here, just like out in the world. And as you saw on the map, there's many of them. In each of the zones has multiple as well. In fact, the whole list is, so here are the boss hunts, and here's the full list of them that are in the game. So quite a few different ones, and they go up in level, so get progressively harder. Like this is a level 10 boss. My character's level 60. This is a level 10 boss. So you can see what I'm talking about. They definitely the difficulty of them absolutely scales up. One of my favorite activities is actually the class trials. I really like these. These are actually located, this is the Bureau Commission, that daily quest thing, located kind of in the heart of the city. But right behind that, at this counter here, is the trial path administer. It's sort of like the tower climb, but not really, because you're not climbing a tower. What you're doing is going through increasingly difficult challenges for your class. Now, these are broken up per the class, so when you're multi-classing and you have a class of the DPS, the tank, and the healing, you'll be able to do these all individually on a single character, but they give you challenges for your role. So like the DPS role is pretty straightforward. You go in there, you kill things within a certain amount of time. And sometimes there'll be bosses, sometimes you have to target down healers, sometimes it'll just be groups of enemies. The Guardian one has you tanking, absorbing damage, taunting enemies and directing them from your team. And obviously the healing one will have you like supporting, buffing, and healing. But I'll just jump in. I'll do the level 11 challenge here for the damage dealer so you can see what it's like. The damage one, from what I've seen, is the least interesting. When I was going through and doing the tank challenges, it was actually pretty interesting because there was like a fair variety. Like I said, there was like a fair variety of things you had to do. While I'm playing on the damage dealer, it's just like damage the thing. But for the tank, like it had you redirecting aggro. One of the coolest ones that the tank had you doing, the tank class challenge, was they would have you draw groups of enemies into area of effect fields that there was like a mage casting like a blizzard or something, and so you'd have to aggro enemies and pull them towards it, which was kind of neat. So yeah, along with a different variety of social events like dancing. This game has a lot of dancing in it. They really lean into the social things in this game. Now, I'm on a private server right now, so you don't see a lot of people running around. There's actually one right there. Like that is another person. But they have a lot of different things where they'll be like synchronized dancing. So you go to these spots and you can dance, and then other people can start their dance and you'll be dancing in sync. And then they'll have events where you get rewarded off of like how much people like your dancing and emotes that you do or something. And like they've got a lot of different kind of social systems like that, which is interesting. So as as mentioned, all of that stuff helps work towards the game's power progression. Now, there are a ton of different systems and ways for enhancing your character's power. So it's broken up into multiple categories. So for starters, you get your skills. So for the class that I'm playing, these are the 3 baseline skills, and then I get to choose 2 through 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of these expertise skills. Now, each of these skills can be first leveled up, okay? So you can go to upgrade and you can level them from 1. I believe the skill max level, the skill max level is 30. You can see this one, I've got this one, this one is maxed here, skill at max level. This one's level 6. So well, let's use one that I'm using. Let's use, my ultimate, of course. Let's upgrade that. So I'm going to use a bunch of my currency and upgrade this from, it's currently level 9. Let's upgrade it to level 15. I just don't want to use all of my currency right now. That currency, along with a bunch of the other resources we're about to take a look at, this is all the end game activities that we just went through. You're doing those things to do this stuff. You're doing those activities to upgrade your power through the different means. So you can level up your skills. Then beyond leveling your skills up, there is an advancement system where you bring it up through tiers, going from tier 1 all the way to tier 6. I think the only upgraded one I have right now is my basic attack. I brought it up from tier 1 up to now tier 3, and you can see as you level it up, it's a multi-strike attack, your basic attack for this class, and as you level it up, the percentage damage that it does goes increasing. It requires these books. How do you obtain these books? And that's actually kind of one of the cool things about this game is there's never any question as to what you need to do to get the thing that you need to upgrade, because you can always like, oh, what's this resource that I need to upgrade my tier? I click on it, I click on how to obtain. It's going to tell you the multiple different ways, including the store and the trading center. But then there's like the straight up playing the game stuff, like opening basic star chest and honor coins. And a lot of the currencies and stuff are going to include this. So you can level it up, then you can advance your skills. Then beyond that, you have got the battle imagines. You're going to go through and do different activities to unlock more of these. You want to get ones that have the passive boost that you like, whatever those may be. You equip them, and then they also have their own advancement system. So it starts off at tier 1, and I can upgrade it higher and higher and higher. And these ones require these different resources. Like this one requires 1 of this battle will and 1 of those rare materials. How do I obtain this? Well, I need to do the battle will exchange. I need to dismantle something, run the Stimen vaults, which is that tower climb, or do a monster hunt for elites, which can reward that. So yeah, you can level up those, and then you have got your gear. And the gear that you have can also be leveled up in multiple ways. You'll do these over here. So this is a gear crafting thing. You can make level 40, level 60, and level 80 gear. It's an exchange system where you take this special currency. How do you obtain the currency? Oh, you can do it through the season pass or honor coins. And then you can go in here and you can use these honor coins to do that or whatever. But this will be for some crafting gear. So you can craft some base level gear of each of these levels. Although from what I understand, the better gear that you're going to get is coming from the activities, specifically running the dungeons, because the gear has lots of different upgrade paths to it, and you can see these here. So when I go into all of my gear, I can reforge it, I can refine it, I can embed stuff into it, and then you can dismantle it, which gives you some resources to do these. But there's multiple levels. So the reforging, that's going to let me upgrade this perfection thing. And this was a crafted bow, and you can see it's only 12 of 80. When you get some of the gear from the dungeons, the threshold that you can level the perfection is higher. So this is actually a yellow glove that I got from running the dungeon. It's level 40, but it's yellow, so it comes with extra purple stats there, the max HP 300. Powering it up through this progression system goes higher than the one that I crafted, which only goes up to, it's a threshold of 80. Tons of different upgrade paths for all of this stuff. It's just absolutely one of those games where there's a lot of systems, there's a lot of means of progressing. Now, if I haven't already said it, you should know this is a free-to-play MMO, and as such, the game does have a store and cash shop that you should probably expect what's going to be included as a free-to-play MMO. There's the monthly card, and this comes with a lot of pretty big bonuses on it. This is basically like their version of a subscription, but you got extra trading stalls, a reduced trading tax, trading deposit becomes free, you get increased shared storage withdrawal, shared homestead storage, that's the personal housing in the game, and then there's also for deposit and withdrawal for that. So it's going to run for a certain amount of time. You purchase this, you get, it's just, you know, if you're going to play the game every day, usually these things seem worth it in most free-to-play MMOs. Like if it's a game that you're playing constantly, they make these things so valuable that it's hard to pass up. Bunch of cosmetic collectibles if you want to decorate your waifu or whatever. A bunch of different resources that you can purchase, and some of this stuff fuels into progression. Some of it is cosmetic related. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a free-to-play MMO. It's what you expect from a free-to-play MMO when it comes to the store. Now, when it comes to feedback, as I mentioned, I've played this game several times over the past few months. I've participated in a few playtests. I've got 2 characters to the max character level of 60, not the max power level, because that's going to take like a lot of time and grinding. But generally speaking, on the positive side, I think this game, like, I absolutely love its art style. I think it's gorgeous, really good looking environment and lighting. Like, it's a pretty beautiful world to spend time in. And there's a lot of really nice set pieces and different locations and points of interest that I've just really appreciated visually. It's like an appealing game to look at. I would also say I think the combat is decently fun. Probably my biggest gripe with it is the lack of free aiming, especially having recently played this ranger character. I just wish I had a crosshair and I could aim how I want. The game pretty heavily relies on this lock-on system, I think, for a few different reasons. One being the different platforms that it's available on. I just wish I had the ability to free aim and like go for headshots or something with especially these range characters. Now, when it comes to the cons, I really think it comes down to the game's pacing, especially the introduction. When you're going from making your character up to the max character level of 60, you're spending like 90% of your time talking to NPCs, engaging in dialogue, and watching cutscenes. I feel like there's just too little action in there as well, and I wish the game kind of did a better job of mixing up, because there are actually, as we went over, there's like a lot of different activities and different things to do in the game. All that list of different things that you're running at endgame, I feel like it should be better paced in the main story quest and introducing to you this stuff and having longer swaths of gameplay and combat sections in between. It's fine that there's a lot of, it's an anime MMO, like it's fine that there's a lot of dialogue and cutscenes and getting to know the characters. That's cool and all. I just wish there was more gameplay in between that compared to how it's currently paced out. But other than that, I have definitely enjoyed my time with the game, and I'm going to be playing it this week when it comes out. And that pretty much concludes our updated look at Blue Protocol Star Resonance. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of what to expect from the game. Once more, it is officially releasing very soon, coming out this week on October the 9th. If you're interested, once again, we've got links available below. Be sure to use those, helps the channel out. But that does it for today. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.